So that's the official charge now that the FBI has raided his home and arrested Mark Houck. Let's bring in someone who would know something about these types of things. It's Shannon Bream. She's the anchor of Fox News Sunday, and she's Fox News' chief legal correspondent. Good morning to you, Shannon.
Good morning, guys. And Gal, it's good to see you guys.
So let's talk about this case for just a moment, Shannon. So, here we have the statute, the law that is being applied here. I think the question for everybody is selective application, is discretion, and deployment of resources. 25 agents to apply this law, which, by the way, I think he'd been sued in civil court by the same abortion activist, and it got thrown out. So now here we have the FBI and the DOJ pursuing criminal charges. Why?
Well, remember, we've heard from this administration that they were going to take very seriously any threats to abortion clinics, to abortion providers. They have also said, in the wake of more than 100 attacks, vandalism, arson, those kinds of things on pro-life centers or religious groups that are pro-life, that they were going to crack down on those as well. But to play this out, the optics of this are not great for the Biden administration, and it does beg the question of what most average Americans, I think, whether they would describe themselves as pro-choice, pro-life, or just nowhere on the issue, showing up when you know who this man is, you know he has 7 young children at the house. Do you need 25 armed agents to do that? I think the DOJ is going to have to answer those questions because it's just not good optics for them. Even if by the law, legally, they're doing everything by the book, you know the criticism that's out there about overplaying your hand with some of these arrests and making examples out of people. While people wait for any arrests on the attacks on the pro-life clinics, you might have wanted to massage this a little differently. I'm guessing this guy, if you had told him you're going to be facing some charges, we need to turn yourself in,
yes,
then he probably would have.
And that seems to me standard protocol in most cases, that they simply could have asked him. Shannon, the bigger why here is the fear of the weaponization of the DOJ and the FBI. This idea that domestic extremism is the biggest threat. We've heard that from political leaders time and time again. So could domestic extremism be described as being pro-life or a pro-life activist? We saw it with Mike Lindell and others who don't believe the 2020 election was above board. You see it with January 6th. So Will talked about a couple hours before. Ultimately, what you decide to prosecute is at the discretion of people at the very top. And they've certainly focused on one side of the spectrum, it seems.
It would appear that way to people when you hear about cases like this, and there is a lot of prosecutorial discretion out there. So how about this group, Jane's Revenge, that has claimed responsibility for more than a dozen attacks, whether it's people tacking their name onto it, whether they themselves, you saw what they posted online. They made very specific threats. They used very specific language. It was not vague about going after these pro-life or pregnancy care centers. How about tracking some of those folks down and making some arrests? They're at least in a good faith show that you are, they say they're investigating, but to show that you are worried about people whose places have been set on fire, that they have been vandalized, that people have been threatened. I think it would go a long way to encouraging people to believe that you are going to prosecute down the middle, regardless of who is doing the wrongdoing.
Yeah,
alleged wrongdoing.
Tucker Carlson had a New Jersey mom on who some neighbor, turned her in for supposedly being at the January 6th rally. She wasn't. They showed up at her door. I mean, this is becoming really scary stuff, and I think it has a really chilling effect on anyone who opposes this administration, which is frankly half the country. It's scary. You have a great show lined up today. Shannon, tell us what you have in store for us.
Okay, so you guys know that the House Republicans rolled out their commitment to America on Friday. There are plenty of critics, and there is talk of internal division within the Republican Party. So we've got one of the House GOP leaders, Elise Stefanik, a congresswoman from there in New York, is going to join us to talk about the plan and their last pitch to midterm voters. We've got Senator Joe Manchin exclusively with us, too, who once again is in the middle of everything happening here in Washington. We are going to run out of money next week, so government funding has to get done, and he wants to tack on a side deal he made in exchange for his vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. And he is here to make his case on why Republicans who think they owe him no favors should vote for this. But he's got plenty of Democrats who say they won't vote for it either. He's here exclusively. And General Jack Keane on all the foreign policy stuff bubbling, Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, North Korea launching missiles. Plenty to discuss with him and our panel, of course, too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shannon. We'll be watching.
Thank you, Shannon.
Stacked.
Can't wait.